Hey everyone, this is Pete, and welcome back to Atari A to Z Flashback, a series of explorations of the 150 games that make up Atari Flashback Classics for Nintendo Switch. Today's game is RealSports Tennis for Atari 5200. This was a 1983 release for Atari 5200 alongside most of the rest of the RealSports lineup, including its Atari 2600 counterpart. Now, the visuals on the Atari 5200 version are considerably more detailed than the 2600 version, and it follows a lot more of the rules of real tennis. Now, we might struggle a little bit to play this effectively on the Switch, as the real Atari 5200 version makes extensive use of the keypad on the Atari 5200 controller. It uses pretty much all of the 9 main buttons to choose where on the court you're going to aim your shot. And this problem would be rather memorably brought to light in an episode of the internet Let's Play show Game Grumps, where neither of the hosts Aaron or Danny were able to figure out how to return any kind of shot other than the default slow ground shot straight down the middle.
There has to be a way to hit a different kind of shot, right? I'm pushing all of the buttons.
There's only one button, dude. This is Atari, remember?
Oh
Just
boy.
max 2 buttons.
Would you please fucking move?
No, why would I move? I'm getting this. I'm 100% safe.
This is the worst. This is the worst. I'm giving us the trophy for worst.
And the comedy value of this episode led to it becoming very popular among the lovelies, and the increasingly anguished cries of tennis that accompanied it have since become immortalised in some official Grumps merchandise. Not a sponsor, by the way. More's the pity. So, let's see if we can do any better than the Grumps. Let's go play RealSports Tennis for Atari 5200. Okay, welcome back once again to Atari Flashback Classics, where today we're taking a look at RealSports Tennis for the Atari 5200, the last but one RealSports game that we'll be looking at on this series. So just RealSports Volleyball on the 2600 to go next time, and then we're done with RealSports, that is. You've still got a fair way to go in the collection as yet. Well, yeah, anyway. RealSports Tennis for the 5200. Like I said in the intro, we might have a bit of difficulty with this one due to the control scheme. So I'm interested to see exactly how this is going to handle it, if indeed it's going to handle it at all. Did they think of that? Let's have a look at the manual first. It's your serve. The score is 6-5. If you take this point, the match is yours. It's been a long, hot afternoon at centre court. Your opponent's striking forehand has given you difficulty all day. To top it off, he has a thunderbolt serve and a cruel overhead smash. Maybe you can beat him on stamina by running him around the court until he drops. Every seat in the stadium is filled with tense and anxious fans. You nervously bounce the ball 2 or 3 times to relieve the tension. You're ready for the serve. He returns it with a forehand drop shot. You can't let this point... You can't let this point get away. Like lightning, spelt incorrectly. You mentally pinpoint where your next shot will go, and then execute it by driving the ball down the sideline. The crowd's with you. They groan as your opponent saves the ball with a driving forehand, forcing you back to the baseline. Quickly rethinking your strategy, you hit a defensive lob. Your opponent returns you with one of his classic smashes to your backhand, but this time you're ready. You whip a passing shot down the sideline to his backhand. He lunges for it, but not far enough. The crowd cheers as the ball whizzes past his astonished face. The point is yours. You take the match. Okay, the object of Atari RealSports Tennis is to score enough points to win a match. A match is the best of 3 sets. Choose from 3 game variations: singles against a computer, singles between 2 players, or doubles in which each team has 1 human player and 1 computer player. So, I don't believe there is a way for both players to play against the computer, which is a shame. You can also choose between 2 skill levels, intermediate or advanced. No beginners here. No beginners here. The beginners need to go and play little baby RealSports Tennis for Atari 2600. Right. Okay, so here's where things might get a bit tricky. Use your 5200 controllers with this cartridge. For your convenience, 2 keypad overlays are included with this game. Serving and returning the ball. The server has the choice of serving to the opponent's forehand or backhand. Press the upper fire button to serve to your opponent's backhand. Press the lower fire button to serve to your opponent's forehand. Choose your strategy before returning the ball by selecting your desired target area on the court. So if you look at that diagram up in the top right, you can see that 9 areas of the court correspond to 9 buttons on the keypad overlay, which means that before you return a shot, it's supposed to press one of those buttons on the keypad. And you'll see that this was such an awkward control scheme that Atari had to put a few suggestions here. Place the controller on your lap. Keep one hand on the joystick and the other hand on the keypad. Use either hand to press the fire buttons for solving the ball. Or try keeping your fingers over the keypad like a 10-key adding machine. Or just use your thumb or one finger to press the keys. If you have large hands, try to maneuver the joystick with your thumb. This will free your other hand to place your shot. So you could also play this with the Atari trackball as well, which a lot of people really like. People who've actually had a trackball for the 5200 and actually played this game with said trackball, they really like it. But yeah, the standard 5200 controller, tricky. Nintendo Switch controller, I suspect impossible, but we'll see. Right, so let's have a look at the control setup. Now, I believe I tinkered with this before. I'm just going to reset that back to the defaults. So at the moment we have forehand serve and backhand serve on A and B. Directional pad during play is joystick. Right, spotting an immediate problem here. You remember how in the manual there were 9 keys? Here there are only 4 keys. 6 keys rather. Yeah, so there are basically 3 areas of the court that you can't hit. Like, at all. Alright. At least they have assigned the lob button to R, which is something, I guess. What else have we got in the manual? What does that automated button mean? An automated game allows you to play with either 1 or 2 computer players. See section 6 for automated games. Okay. Right, this is going to be interesting. Because if you look, like most of the other... Oh, God. Just going to reset that. Like most of the other Atari 5200 games in Atari Flashback Classics, the keypad is implemented as this sort of drop-down thing down the side here. Which means you need to use the right stick to pick between different things and then press the X button on the controller to actually pick that option. Okay. Alright, so how do we actually change our name as well? Intermediate. Alright, automated just means basically 1 or 2 player game. And we should be able to change our... Oh, wrong button. Getting off to a good start, aren't we? Oh well, I guess we're player 1 then. All right, so begin. So I'm the blue dude, and the computer is in the pink up at the top. Now, you'll immediately see the problem I mentioned at the beginning, which is the issue that Game Grumps encountered, which is if you just hit the ball, it always goes straight down the middle. Always. So what you need to do is make use of the keypad options to hit the ball in various different directions. And I think you might need to do that between every shot. Now, to be fair, it's just about possible to do that. given that the game runs, like most of the other Real Sports games, this game runs a bit slower than its Atari 2600 counterpart. But even so, that's a lot of things to think about. Oh, look at that. That was good. Don't know how I did that, but it was good. So I think probably the best way of playing this is to assign all of those 6 buttons to different buttons on the Switch controller, and go from there. That was out, surely. Surely. And that way you can pick between them by just, you know, pressing a button like you could on the original. It's not ideal. What you'd really want is something like being able to assign the different buttons to the right stick or the D-pad or something like that. That would be good. Nice. In fact, can you do that? Let's have a quick look. Controls. Right, so let's say court 4, which is like the center left. So can we... This controller is reserved for movement in this control scheme and cannot be assigned to other functions. Right, if I change that to keypad... I can't turn off the direction pad for keypad, which is a little bit annoying. Can we assign it to the right stick? Nope. Good. Alright, well, let's try court 4 as left shoulder button, court 6 as right shoulder button, court 1 as left trigger, court 3 as right trigger. Running out of buttons. Court 2, which is back middle. Click the left stick. And court 5, which is middle. Click the right stick. It might work. Let's see what happens. So like I said, one of the main issues that we've got with this control scheme is that the original 5200 version gave you 9 options, but you've only got 6 in this. And so that means there's a number of different shots that it's literally impossible to do in this version of the game. Which may not necessarily be a huge deal, but... Go on, hit it. There we go. Lovely. Yeah, this actually works quite nicely using the shoulder buttons as the way that you aim left and right. So if you do want to play this, I recommend setting up your controllers in that way. And that's certainly much easier than trying to fumble around with that awkward... Oops. Much easier than trying to fumble around with that awkward menu. But it doesn't fix one of the fundamental problems, though, which is that you just don't have access to some of those buttons. They're just simply not there. They're not emulated. But, I mean, I guess there's enough buttons to be able to get something done. You can have a meaningful game of tennis using just the buttons that you have there. The issue is if that's quite enough for what you need. Well, I mean, we're having a game of tennis that isn't just two people hitting down the middle of the court. So already we've succeeded more than the Grumps managed to achieve. But like I said, there is a fundamental flaw with this version of the game, which is unfortunate. It's unfortunate because despite the clunky control scheme, this is actually a reasonable quality tennis game. The relatively sedate speed makes it fairly accessible to newcomers. But it's just got a bit more depth to it than the 2600 version has. It feels more like you're playing tennis. And that's partly thanks to the better graphics, the better, more realistic representation of the court, but also just the whole thing has a bit of a better feel to it. Hit it. There we go. Smashes are the way to win. Wait for the computer to do an ill-advised lob shot and then smash it back to him. Smash! Lovely. Oh, ace. I've won a game. At last. I think, unlike our 2600 game that we played last time where we got a couple of games in, I think we'll just play the one match this time around because this is going to take a little while, I think. Yeah, once you set those controls up, this works much better than I expected it to. As I say, it's not perfect, and it won't be perfect because there's no way for it to be perfect. But it's better than I expected. Much better than I expected. Which is good. As I was worried they'd put a literally unplayable game in this compilation. And it's not unplayable by any means. You just can't quite enjoy it to its full potential. But, you know, it's a tennis game for the Atari 5200. How much were you going to enjoy it in the first place? Now, I'm not sure, but I think there may have been an Atari 8-bit version of this. Because I certainly remember playing a tennis game on the Atari A that looked a lot like this, and I'm pretty sure it was just called Tennis. Again, like the 2600 version, the RealSports branding came along after the game was finished, so it doesn't actually mention the term RealSports anywhere in the game. So I'm wondering if that was an official release from Atari, or if it was one of those 5200 versions that someone basically hacked to work on the 8-bit. And if so, what did they do about aiming the shots? I'll have to look into that. Oh, he's too good at anticipating what I'm going to do. He's too good. Oh, and I can't reach. I feel we're going to lose today, boys and girls. Go on, get over there. He's too good. This is the problem with only having intermediate and advanced levels. There's no novice level. Which is weird, because you'd think that would be the easiest one, wouldn't you? But no, apparently they thought that RealSports Tennis for the Atari 5200 was for intermediate and advanced tennis players only. And you know what? They might be right. They might just be right. I cannot get it past him. We'll just play to the end of this set, I think, because otherwise we're going to be here all day. Not that I'm having a terrible time or anything, but you know, I think this is pretty much a foregone conclusion at this point. Oh, you cheeky bastard. Oh! None of that. If you please. Ah. Hit it. That's the only way I can get a point in this, is if he lobs it. Or if I ace it. Yeah, he lobs it, I smash it, I get a point. And that's about the only circumstances under which I can score in this game. Again, this may well be one that's best played with two people. But you do have that slight accessibility issue with this one, where you need to teach the other person how that unusual shot system works and make sure their controls are set up properly. Sigh. Deuce! You're not winning this set without a fight, good sir. And that is the end of my fight. Oh, no. I fight once more. And match point. No. Oh, my hands are getting sweaty. I can't be invested in this silly game. But I am. Oh my god, I won a game. Why won't you let me die? He's too fast. He just gets there. Like before you can... It seems to be just impossible to hit the ball back with enough speed to be able to stop him. Nah. Come on now. Come on now. Oh, you got it past me. And my back's aching. Excuse me. Have a quick wriggle. Oh, no. Come on, throw it. Right, that is the end of that set. I think I've had enough of that. Not a terrible game by any means. As I say though, if you are going to play this on Atari Flashback Classics, then do bear in mind the control limitations. You won't be able to play it to quite its full potential. Should that be an issue for you. If you do have a real Atari 5200, make sure your whole keypad's working. It's usually the joystick that tends to fail on those controllers. But and if you've got an Atari 5200 trackball, then you're golden. If you've got two of those, even better. Then 2 Atari 5200 trackballs, I'd say, would be the optimal way to play this game. As for this version on Atari Flashback Classics, I would probably give it a miss in favour of the 2600 version if you want to play some tennis. It's an interesting curiosity, though, that was worth taking a look at. So let's leave that there for now. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.